What's going on, slave tards? To celebrate Elon Musk and the Dragon whatever spaceship bringing back our cosmonauts from the International Not in Space Station, I want to do a video about the ridiculousness of space exploration and how space is stupid. It's stupid. So I'm very, very intrigued, and it actually makes me giggle every time I see anything about what's going on in space, right? So let's do a quick history of mankind's space travel, right? So back in the 1960s, we launched some monkeys into space, right? And landed them safely back on Earth. Then we tried it with humans. And they were in a little capsule, and they'd, go around and orbit the Earth in the Earth's atmosphere. But they called it space because it was zero gravity, right? Even though real space would be outside of the atmosphere of Earth, they called it space travel, right? And then after that, we said we were going to go to the moon. And we went to the moon 6 times in the late 60s and early 70s, where we were like driving around dune buggies and jumping around on the moon surface and like bringing back moon rocks. And, we had a dozen men or so like walking around on the moon. And we, never lost a single man doing any of that. And then since then, we've done nothing. Since then, for the last over 50 years, we've done nothing in space, right? We used the space shuttle program to build the International Not in Space Station, right? I get so irritated when people call it the International Space Station. I saw on Fox News that Hannity was talking about bringing back cosmonauts from deep space. The only time we've ever been to deep space, supposedly, was the moon landings, and we haven't done anything even remotely deep space since then. Every single space station, our space shuttle mission, was to the ISS, the International Space Station, which is 250 miles up in the thermosphere in Earth's atmosphere, protected by Earth's magnetic field. It's not in space, right? So since then, we've gone back and forth supposedly to do experiments in space, right? And do research and experiments. But what experiment could you do within Earth's atmosphere, protected by Earth's magnetic field, that would have any validity outside of Earth's atmosphere? None, right? So it's a waste of time. It's always been a waste of time, yet we still do it, right? We still do it. Then they retired the shuttle program, and now it's been, few and far between. We've been hitching rides with Russia, and now we have, private SpaceX going there, right? But it's always very, very interesting to me to see everybody tune in. Like I watched the bringing back of the Dragon capsule from the International Space Station and bringing back these, cosmonauts or astronauts, whatever you want to call them, from the ISS. They've been up there for 8 months or so. I watched it, and in the comments, in the live feed, it's just like, wow, amazing. Elon Musk is a genius. Unbelievable. And I'm like, really? Really? Sending a man up into the thermosphere, orbiting the Earth, which is something a monkey did in like 1960s, is unbelievable. When over 50 years ago, we're driving around dune buggies on the moon and doing all that stuff, right? And then I hear people like Elon Musk talking about we're going to be the first, this generation in the next 10 years or something would be the first interplanetary species, blah, 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 talking about Mars. And I just scratched my head and I'm like, dude, for the last 50 years, nobody's done anything on the moon. And every single moon mission, pretty much, since we did it effortlessly 6 times without losing a single person in space, has failed. I mean, they blow up like probes all the time trying to land them under the moon. You see it all the time, like the Russians or the Chinese are trying to land, big catastrophic failure, getting an unmanned probe on the moon, right? And recently there was an article saying that they finally had, a successful touchdown of a probe on the moon, and they're trying to gather moon dust for research. I'm like, wait a minute here. In the 1960s with, not even 1,000th the technology we have now, 1,000,000th the technology we have now, we did it effortlessly. Maybe not effortlessly, but we did it with no failures. You had Apollo 13 that didn't land, but we got everybody back, right? But now we can't do anything, and yet you have Elon Musk talking about going to Mars, which is 1,000 times, I think it's like 250 million miles to Mars, and the moon is only 250,000 miles away. And the International Space Station, which is the only thing we can do these days, is 250 miles. 250 miles, right? I live in Reno, Nevada. That's less than me driving to freaking Las Vegas, basically, And that's everybody, unbelievable. Oh my goodness. Elon Musk is a complete genius. Yet we went, 250,000 miles in the 60s, and now you have Elon Musk talking about 250 million miles and putting, habitats and cities on Mars without any research, any valid research, because all the research we've done has been in Earth's atmosphere. How are you going to pull that off, right? And I've heard for decades and decades, even like the Bush administration, I'm getting pretty old now, but they were talking about America was going to go back to the moon. Obama said it, but we don't ever do anything. Yet you have Elon Musk talking about Mars, and it just makes you scratch your head. You're like, what's going on there, with this? I've often said on this channel that I believe that they're just trying to put an illusion of evolution out there, illusion of advancement, but we're actually not advancing or not at all. And if you look at the absolute evidence, the evidence of our advancement, we're going backwards. We're going backwards. We're not doing anything in space. First of all, there's nothing in space. We know enough to know there's nothing out there for humanity and mankind, right? There's nothing on Mars for us. Right? We can't live there, right? So there's no purpose in going to Mars. And we're not going to do it anyway because we can't even go to the moon, right? We can't even put a man on the moon anymore. Peace.